It's official. I'm at my house about to film this video, and people are outside playing music so loud on their car that it threatens to demonetize my video no matter where I go now. I thought it was something when a street spot had someone just randomly playing music, but evidently it's a trend right now, at least in America, to just play music obnoxiously loud regardless of who's around you and just have them accept whatever music taste you have, regardless of how terrible it is. But so I used to go to New York City a bunch. In fact, this year I will be returning to New York City a good bit, at least twice, maybe 3 times, which is pretty exciting because I always have a good time when I'm there. The filmer that I feel like I work the best with, DJ Wilford, lives in New York City, as well as I still have a ton of friends in New York City. The shop that I ride for, which is also like the Homage Skateboard Academy, is based in New York City, even though they have a branch in LA now. So yeah, lots of connections to New York City. Definitely love it there. Incredible spots. And this video part is, we filmed it in 2011, which sounds pretty old because it is, and I am actually also pretty old. So I have hair in this, so that's exciting. But this part in particular kind of stands out to me because it's the part where I started kind of more coming into my own. There's like a couple parts before this where I kind of dabbled with the kind of skating that I wanted to do, but still kind of stayed the main line of like, okay, well, these are the tricks that skaters are doing. These are the obstacles that skaters are doing. But this is the part where I'm like, I went to New York, I think 4 times to film this part. So I think it's a total of probably 10 or 11 days of filming with DJ, which it's really easy to stack footage with DJ because he's like, we would go out, we would party till like 2 a.m. and then we would get up at 7 a.m. and then go filming all day. I mean, that was just the go-to of me back then. So that was always like a really sick time. We went and saw Suicidal Tendencies randomly like during this trip. But anyways, this is the footage that we got. And yeah, I think you'll be able to see, I think in this video part, you can kind of see me really developing into the skater that I am now, I think, to where I strictly just do tricks that I want to do and skate in a way that I want to skate. So yeah, here's the video, and I'm going to press play right now. I'm going to press play right now. Someone's head exploding. Oh, I got to mute the music. Hold on. And I'm going to press play right now. The first clip of this, he just took snippets from random shows. And I think this is from the Dave Chappelle skit of the black white supremacists. And the one guy hears him say that and his head explodes. So here's the violence of that. Look at me with hair. The receding hairline wasn't even there yet. Bond-sided back nose grind. That's a trick that I still dabble with sometimes. I think I learned it the day before we went and filmed this line back east, and they just happen to have a perfect angle iron ledge at that spot. This ground's really cool though. That's what I like about New York City, is it has a lot of this like kind of octagon tile stuff. I threw in that 5-0 scrape randomly in this line. Every other time I tried it, I didn't do that. And me popping a flip trick back then, very rare. That was like the best figgy flip of my life. So at this point in time, I was riding for a company called 1031. Jason Adams rode for it. I got to go on a trip with him. It was super sick. So you can see a lot of 1031 gear, as well as I think I was riding for Vox. Look at that stance. I definitely look like an ape, but look, still got that pinky out. I used to be more of a fist skater, and now I'm more of an open hand extended pinky skater, but pinky was still out back then, as you can see in this zone right here. This spot was really sick, and a lot of really difficult tricks got done on it, and I wasn't about to compete with any of those, so I just skated it differently. That's my go-to when I'm a coward. So I just grind at the inside. What else did we got in this part? This song is by Theo and the Get Down, Stay Down. Fakey Bigger Spin in a line. Of course I did. And I absolutely was obsessed with the song at the time, and I showed DJ it, and then he just randomly edited my part to it. And then when I saw it, I was super stoked. A little 4 up, 4 down. Me doing a 5-0 kickflip. I've been running that trick for as long as I can remember. This line was super random. So we were just like hanging out, waiting for other skaters to meet up in this plaza. And I was like, oh, this spot's cool. And DJ had never seen anyone skate it. So I just did a dumb gapped firecracker. That right there is like one of 3 tricks that's not filmed in New York. It's in Baltimore. Front blown pop outs. I should start doing those again. This is a trick that I should never do again. Lip slide to blown side on the other side. Not a fan of that one. This trick I was stoked on if I would have done it better. Like I wish I would like, instead of like 180 switch 5-0ing and then kind of like pivoting off my back truck, I wish I would have like reverted in. But if you've been to that spot, it's made of a very grippy concrete. So I would have to like wax down the bank a little bit. And also we didn't have that wax. We didn't have wax that day. So it was just more of a struggle. Me trying to, I couldn't do, I think originally I was trying like nollie flip or something down the 4-stair, and I couldn't land any trick down the 4-stair consistently that didn't look gross. So I just tried to exaggerate an ollie to make up for it. And then this is the beginning of my Wally era, I guess. I didn't slappy or anything back at this point in time. So this is me starting to get my feet wet with a Wally nose manual. Yep. I think those are DCs. Oh yeah, so I was writing for Vox, and then halfway through this video part, even though it was only over the course of 10 days or 11 days filming, it was over the course of 2 months of skating, because I had to make trips out to him. But I ended up getting on DC after Vox. That spot's super sick. It's called The Wire. I actually fractured my hand right there. I don't know if you can actually tell. But like, so this thing's kind of narrow, and I think it's my left hand. I throw it back. No, it was my right hand. So like I throw it back behind me, and I smack it on the ledge that's on the left though. It's like comes down and it just barely clips it, and I caught right here. I think it's right here, and I like cracked the bone of my hand. Like I got an x-ray like a couple days later, and they're like, oh yeah, you fucked your hand up. So that's one of the great instances of getting hurt landing a trick. I think someone did something else too that was actually like a cool trick. 50-50 quick ollie up. Oh look, I used to do hard flips. I should start doing them again. I power slide at this car because I thought it was cool, but instead I was just being a dick. And you thought that was cool. Look at me skating with a cigarette. Wow, so edgy. So cool. I actually, to this day, really like this line. I wish I wouldn't have done that little tic-tac when I got on the bank, but this is a cool spot. I actually would like to go back to that thing. Oh, here's another random trick in Baltimore. At the time, that's where I was living, was Baltimore. So either I made a trip up to New York or you'd come to Baltimore. That's like the coolest wall ride spot ever. Let's take a moment to appreciate how much of a hypocrite I am now, because in the back, my hands were all up on them walls. Look at that, both hands, double weck. Unbelievable. What's cool about this spot though is right afterwards, there's I think it's like a 7-stair on the far side, but then it gets bigger and it goes down to a 10. There's kind of a crappy crack at the top, but I've seen people do tricks over it. Pat Smith's the main one that I think he did. I forget what trick he did, maybe frontal wall ride, and then he did shove it down the stairs, and I always thought that was cool. Classic New York spot before they put the barriers up with a blue dipped board. Look, another 5-0 kickflip. I have something that I really want to do at the spot now, but now there's like a barrier right here, and so you kind of like bounce out over it. But yeah, I got some ideas for the spot. Actually, I skated another way in this video part that I also want to skate it that way again. I think it's this part. This is where I learned how to nose grind pop out. I just balanced the nose grind long and then just slightly turned a little bit over crook and I just threw you out. And I was like, oh, let's film one of those. Me doing another hard flip. Hard flip used to be like my go-to flip trick. That's Pedro. He is the funniest dude ever. Let me tell you a quick Pedro story real quick. We were in New York City and we were skating down the street and we had been, doing things. And I look over and I see Shaun White, and Pedro is already in this like belligerent state of just like being kind of like just hectic as hell. And I'm like, oh, look, Shaun White. And so Shaun White's there with this super tight leather jacket that like comes to like his belly button. Not the best look I've ever seen, that's for sure. And Pedro is like, oh, I got to go say what's up. And I'm like, oh, like maybe he knows Shaun or something like that. And he skates over, and I'm not exaggerating. Shaun has a girl on each arm, and he's like this, like walking down the street all suave or whatever. And Pedro walks up to me and goes, hey, are you Shaun White? And he was like, yeah. And he like kind of takes his arms off the girl. He's like, yeah, I'm Shaun White. And Pedro like gets this close to his face and goes, and then skates away. And I am not by any means with my laughter saying that was a really cool thing to do, but it was really funny. And yeah, that is a dick move. I admit that is a dick move. I'm not one to promote any form of bullying, but to this day, picturing that and him doing that, especially with my expectations of like, oh, maybe he knows him, he's just going to say what's up. And then him doing that, and then Shaun White's reaction, just like this, just completely like in awe, like, did he really just do that? And then he didn't even run off. Like, it's not like he did that and then like skated off. Like he like stood there for a second and it was like, and then just like slowly like pushed away. And I was just like, holy shit, this guy is insane. Also, he's super good at skating. I think he still skates. He's originally from Florida, moved to New York City. If anyone knows that this guy's still skating, let me know, because he was really good. That's my favorite trick in the park. I saw this spot my first time in New York City, and I couldn't skate it at all. Like I had no ability in the realm of quick banks or anything slappy-esque or anything in that realm. Like the kind of skating I specialize in now, the kind of skating I do the most now was the furthest thing from me for the longest time. So when I went back to New York City and we went to that spot, I was like, oh, it'd be cool to get a trick on a spot that I've been to before that I couldn't even begin to skate. And so I did this like ride-on slappy blunt slide up it. And I think it came out cool. I think it was filmed good. And I am just a fan of the trick and the little backstory of like the fact that I couldn't do that sort of thing for the longest time. And then it ended up being in my part. I think I got 4 down. This spot's in New York City too. Oh, there's a little Ollie North. I'm gonna tell Haley about that. Haley's like really into Ollie Norths right now. I wish that rail was still there because that would be a cool spot to do some railie variations. I don't know if anyone actually grinded this rail. I want to say that Miles Willard might have grinded this rail, but there's another rail over here that's like the same layout, and it is the worst rail ever with a huge crack, and Miles Willard barley grinded it, and it's square, and it was insane. I think it's like a 9 stair, but it has like a real terrible kink on the end. Oh yeah, there's me doing a 1 foot in a video part. This spot's really sick. It's at a hospital, and they told me that you can't skate there. It's not even worth taking a try because you get kicked out so fast, and then I ended up skating it for like 10 minutes. This front board pop out, I think it's like the only like actual rail trick on my part. And then someone else did this in a video that came out like around the same time, and I don't remember who it was. And then someone board slid like around the corner, like backside board slide around the corner. And then I think recently I saw someone switch front board it. So RIP the relevance of that trick. I actually like this, not the nose manual as much, but the trick I do after. Because so like this is kind of like bombing down a hill. And I've never seen anyone go up it because you have to push uphill. But for whatever reason, I was terrible at kickflips back then, but I could kickflip up stuff. So it's me kickflipping up a long 5 stair uphill. I was stoked on that. This is how I want to skate it again. I want to do something involving that thing to something and then go into the bank off the drop. Whip back 270. I should have... Look at arm steez. What are you doing? Look at this. It looked like a teapot. Look at, I used to have hair. RIP hair. This trick right here is pretty funny. So someone made an edit of this trick of just like how gross I did it. Like I'm stoked that I did it, but I did it really horrendous. And there's a specific freeze frame that's really important in this clip. That is, well, it's no place like home, that's for sure. Here we go. Lip slide, kick, flip, click. Like I'm almost positive that my feet touched each other, and then I spread them back out. Let's experience that again. Yeah, little click. Yeah, what? I don't. What even caused me to do that? I never even tried to like. I think I was just trying to keep my feet in the air as long as I possibly could, and all I got out of it was a heel click. I remember, so I was on 1031 and I had this footage when I went on a trip with them, and we went to, it was like I don't think we went all the way across the country. I think we just made it to like the middle of the country, but I was showing Kristen Svitek, the owner of the company, this footage. And I remember being like real stoked on it because like Blubba is like kind of a famous spot. And at this point in time, it like somewhat recently got denobbed. So there's like a long period of time of people not getting stuff on it. And I remember showing Christian this trick and thinking like, oh, he's going to be stoked. And he saw it. It was like, yeah, you did that. I was just like, oh man, like what? Like I didn't even have like an eye for like how bad I did it until like I like really broke it down. Because really up until that point, I just looked at what trick was done, not how it was done. My gatekeeperiness of what's cool and not cool as far as the way a trick is done wasn't instilled in me as deeply as it became in later years. And of course now I'm very much so like, do any trick you want, I back it all as long as you're having a good time. So yeah, there's that video that is me reviewing a part. I'm hurt right now, my ribs messed up, and I get really anxious when I'm not like doing anything for like my quote unquote job or anything that I find progressive. And I've done all of my chores and I'm running out of stuff to do. So I'm going to do this. And then hopefully tomorrow I'm going to try to skate a little bit because the rib's not that bad. I'm also going out with Pal tomorrow, so we'll have more videos from that. But anyways, yeah, nice little random Saturday video. There's that. Yeah.